Tonight, MPP fires back, slamming 2020 NDC flag bearer John Mahama over his do-or-die comments, insisting it's only because Mr. Mahama is desperate to win power at all costs.
Being in opposition and desperate to come back to power, John Mahama must be panicking at the pace at which the Akufo-Addo government is moving. Indeed, if he had something of substance to sell, he will not have resorted to the language of do or die.
More, as the General Secretary of the party, John Bwedu, is asking Ghanaians to block the return of Mr. Mahama.
Incompetent and desperate John Mahama should be given no space to come to the corridors of power. The best way forward for Ghana is the MPP way, and has been the MPP way.
And then later, the standoff between road contractors and government over payment of arrears, as government confirms it is yet to settle all it owes the contractors.
Procedure is to serve them with letters, first warning, second warning, and ultimately we terminate. And sometimes we have to prosecute them.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gas and Cement, the nation builder, is also brought to you by Vodafone. Together we can. The MPP has just finished a press conference where they are now reacting pretty strongly to the comments by John Dramani Mahama, the 2020 NDC flag bearer, insisting that his do-or-die comments are just a sign of desperation to win power at all costs. We have details of all that for you. But first, to this standoff that is brewing between road contractors and government over arrears that they say they are owed. Government had initially threatened that some of them will have to possibly face prosecutions for failing to go back to site because payments have already been made. Last month, government said it had released some 800 million cedis to clear the arrears owed the contractors. But speaking on the sidelines of a community engagement with the chiefs and people at Anyaso Tom constituency, Deputy Roads Minister Stephen Jalula said even though the monies are being released, some of the contractors are yet to return to site. He warned, if possible, of possible prosecution of some of these contractors if they refuse to return to work despite being paid.
If they left site because of non-payment and now the state has paid them money, it's incumbent on them to return to site and carry on with their works. But if they don't come, that means that they don't have the intention to work again. And so our procedure is to serve them with letters, first warning, second warning, and ultimately we terminate. And sometimes we have to prosecute them. Okay, so that is what I just reiterated, that all the contractors who are not on site and some for non-performance, not because we owe them. Some of them we have paid them all their IPCs, but yeah, they will hide under the cloak of non-payment, and they will not do the work. But now, if they don't return to site, I think we can terminate their contracts.
Well, today the road contractors fired back. They called his bluff, insisting government is yet to clear up the debts they owe their members. They say they will not return until all the monies owed them are paid. Stephen Akachi is the National Vice Chairman of the Association of Road Contractors Ghana.
The man is a concert man. How do you make that statement? Meanwhile, lock down your site, which will let the contractors go to the site. What 800 they pay to who? They should come out with the contractors they have paid the money to. They should come out. It's never true. They will mention the money, and if he knows how much he owed the contractor, he wouldn't have made that noise. It's like a teaspoon of salt putting in the sea, and you want to test it and see whether you can hear from. I mean, the salt No, which is not correct. You have all the people in billions. No, we have a category in the construction, okay? We have category. We have a small scale people. They do the grass cutting. They fill the gutters, like those small things. Maybe some, in their highest yield is about 20,000, some 50,000. If you pay those people, make sure you categorize nicely and let the public know what you are doing. Some of the filling stations, we have lifted the fuel almost 4 years now. We will pay.
Are you telling me, sir, that there's been no engagement at all between yourself and government as regarding how your monies are going to be paid? We are told that your documents are going to be validated, and that has already started, and the payments are actually ongoing.
I want to wake up my tenants this morning. No, let me tell you. Validation. What validation? I give you a bill. You accepted the bill, you are not paying. What validation again?
What are you going to do now? Are you going to return to the site as the minister is ordering?
To go and do what? No. 800, even one activity, okay? One activity. It's more than that 800 million they are talking about. If 1 kilometer bitumen, do you know how much it costs?
Well, the Deputy Minister has been clarifying his position on the matter. He says, well, not all of the contractors have indeed been paid. He was asked by my colleague, Araba Kumsing, to specify which categories exactly of road contractors have exactly been paid. Listen to the Deputy Roads Minister, Stephen Jalula.
I listened to the chairman of the Road Contractors Association. Yes, it's true that the Minister of Roads and Highways, together with the Minister of Finance, have started paying contractors the debt that we owe them. And in your intro, I think I heard something like they are not returning until we have paid them. The thing is that the government cannot pay all the debt that we owe to our road contractors in one payment regime. It's a going concern, and we that is why we need time to be able to pay all of them. And it is due to this that somewhere last year, the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, decided that we should not take on board new commitments and that we should hold on in the signing of new contracts with contractors regarding infrastructure so that we'll be able to pay substantially the indebtedness that we owe to them. So that is what we are doing, and it is not for me to come out and tell the chairman that I have paid contractor A or B. But what I know is that we have started, the road fund board is in place now, and they have started paying.
Okay, since you say they started paying, when exactly did you start paying?
I think the payment started a couple of weeks ago. And if the chairman hasn't been paid, he should relax. I'm sure that soon it will get to his turn. And we are not ordering all contractors wholesale to go back to site because we owe them. And if we haven't given them money, we know it will be difficult for them to return to site. So when I directed that they should go to site, I said those that have been paid. If a contractor has been paid his money, we know we cannot clear all the debt, but we are paying some monies to them. If you receive anything, it behoves you to go back to site and carry on with the work that you sign up to do.
So those you have paid, have they been paid in full or just in part?
Some of them have been paid in full. Others have been paid in part. And it's ongoing. It's an ongoing process. It has not ended yet.
And finally, for those that you've paid in full, and even those you've paid in part, have they started going back to site?
Yes, I know. I was in the Western North with the president last weekend, and so many of them have returned to site. And I know it's same in most other regions.
Very well.
So we had the Deputy Roads Minister, Stephen Jalula, clarify his position there. I want to bring back into the conversation Hammond Labi. He's a Vice President of the Progressive Road Contractors Association. Mr. Labi, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you just heard that the Deputy Minister clarifying that, yes, they've started paying 2 weeks ago, but they haven't paid all of your members. And his instruction that you should return to site only applies to those who've received payment. Can you confirm if some of your members indeed have received payment?
The ministry actually have written to Minister of Finance for some payment to be done. Even with that letter that have been sent, it's not everybody's name that have been sent to Fidelity Bank for the payment. The names that are gone to Fidelity, the payment still hasn't been done. The payment still hasn't been done at the at Fidelity Bank. I've been in constant touch with them, trying to find out when the payment will be. I don't know whether it will start next week. I don't know. Some of our contractors who are owed maybe 10 million and all that, they've been given bond. You see, the ministry need to clarify what is happening. They've been given bond, and the bond that they've been given, they are shown a place where they have to take this thing to. And if a ministry doesn't know this thing, they're at the bank, they will ask you to send your bonds somewhere, and then they will be demanding 3% of your money. You see, I work for the for government. If anything at all, government have to pay. If those people, if you are selling the certificate to other districts, then it is your responsibility to pay because you owe me. But if you ask me to go to the bank and pay 3%, go to the bank or the financial house, and the financial house decides that look, you have to pay us 3%, and that is like stealing from the contractor.
Have the banks explained to you and your members why they're demanding 3% of the monies that government owes you?
Well, it's a bond. It's a bond. So they want to take 3% of your money. A lot of the contractors who are owed over 10 million are refusing to take the money.
Because you have to pay 3% to somebody else.
3%, yes. They are taking 3% of the money.
Has government been made aware of this formally?
No, during the week, I was at ministry. I think on Monday, I was at Minister of Finance, and there were some contractors who were complaining bitterly. They were not happy. Some decided they won't take the money. I won't mention names here, but then they decided they won't take the money. But what was telling me, when he was asked to go there, the Ministry of Roads and Highways didn't explain to them that they will be demanded to pay 3% of their money as a discount fee. But when they went there, they have been asked to pay 3%.
Let me ask you: you've been in this industry for so long.
Yes.
Is this how it's been?
No, never.
So is this the first time this is happening?
This is the first time that this happened. No, it happened before in 2019. It happened before in 2019, and the Fidelity Bank actually ripped off some of the contractors.
Okay, I mean we don't have the bank corporate entity.
5%.
We don't have them
well,
here to.
5% was taken. I mean,
to clarify,
5% was taken for their money.
I'm just indicating that a rip-off is a strong word, and because we don't have Fidelity here to respond to that, we should leave that out. I mean, because there's a corporate corporate entity. If they are charging the 3%, yes, but rip-off. But let me ask you.
What happened?
But let me.
I thought, to me personally, after it was a rip-off.
Okay, but let
it might
me
not be Fidelity's banks doing, but the 5% that was taken from the contract wasn't proper.
Okay, but let me clarify from you.
Up to now, those people have been demanding for the money to be returned to them. It hasn't been returned to them. They are being asked to sign documents. They are being asked to sign documents. so that these monies are released to them.
So as it is now,
some of them, they are taking loans from the banks to do this work. They are taking loans from the bank to do this work. So at the end of the day, if the money goes to the bank has to deduct or take out the money that the client owns, the contractor owes them, and then a very little will be left to the contractor because the monies have been there. You see, I know some people who have the certificates that have been there for about 6 years. The certificates have been there for about 6 years. You'll be surprised that we have.
So after this now,
there for about 6 years.
You are being paid through bonds. That's what the current arrangement is.
Yes.
In the past, you said 2019 was the first time it's happening now.
Yeah.
Before 2019, how were you paid? Cash?
Well, no. Monies are transferred into our bank accounts.
Okay, so the government does the transfers directly to your bank account?
Yeah, transfer, yes.
Okay.
That's why we have the gimmies. Monies have been transferred through gimmies into our various accounts.
Okay, but so I'm curious. I mean, so it happened in 2019, it's happening again, and that is why I asked, what representations have you done to government directly on this arrangement? Because clearly, from what you say, it's not something that you like as contractors.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to arrange a meeting with our leadership. It's already a meeting with our leadership. This is our industry, and if there's a problem, the leadership need call this. And I've actually told what is it called, the chamber of the construction industry. I told the executive secretary of the construction industry that there's need to have a meeting on this thing. So we have to trash this thing out with government. And to me, it is not proper. But when you talk like this, there are people who think you are against them.
I'm grateful Hammond Labi is the Vice President of the Progressive Road Contractors Association, laying out their concerns with the current payment regimes for roads that they've already undertaking. We've heard already from the Deputy Roads Minister who say some of them are being paid. He says, yes, payment is actually started, but it's in bonds and they are being charged 3%. Watch this pretty closely. But let's stay with the subject of roads, because President Akufo-Addo has announced today that contractors will begin work on the much-anticipated East Corridor Road as government awards section of the road to 10 contractors. He detailed that the Peki Harvest stretch, which is the most deteriorated section of the road, has been awarded to First Sky Construction Limited. He said the construction firm is mobilizing and would soon move to the site and soon fix that section. Now, President Akufo-Addo was addressing a concern of the President of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs and Paramount Chief of Afuega Traditional Area, Togbe Teprehodo, at a meeting in Afuega.
10 contracts, 10 concurrent contracts have now been given for the Eastern Corridor Road from Kenya right up to the north. And one of them is for the Peki Harvest Road. It's been given in contract to a very good contractor who's doing very good work, First Sky Limited. And I think very soon you will see the progress that is being made on the road.
So that is the president there. He is in the OT region on his tour of that part of the country. Now, you listen to Top Stories on Joy 99.7 FM. To some politics now, because the General Secretary of the governing MPP, John Bodu, says the 2020 flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, and his recent resort, he alleges, to violent comments indicates he's desperate. He's desperate to return to power. Now, John Bodu, who described the comment as distasteful, says there's panic in the NDC's camp due to the massive infrastructure development projects initiated by the Akufo-Addo government. In the view of John Bodu, Mr. Mahama has no alternative solutions in addressing the many problems that Ghanaians are facing and must not be given a chance to return to office. He's been addressing a news conference earlier today.
It is a distasteful comment that does not belong in our fast maturing electoral democracy. We know that John stubbornly refuses to retract. Rather, he is seeking refuge in semantics and grammar, struggling to explain the impossibility. However, we are not surprised. Being in opposition and desperate to come back to power, John Mahama must be panicking at the pace at which the Akufo-Addo government is moving. The president continues to commission completed projects and initiate new ones on his working tours of the country. Everywhere the president goes, there is fervent support for his policies, which are visibly changing the lives of our people. Infrastructure is springing up fast in the regions, particularly in the new regions as well. 106 1D1F factories are working full blast, with many more in the pipeline. Yesterday, he commissioned a starch factory in Oti region. Agenda 111 has been launched with strong prospects to change the health sector to another level. In confirmation of these, the IMF has granted Ghana $1 billion in special drawing rights without any conditionalities whatsoever. No wonder former President Mahama is desperate. He has no blueprint to match the progress he's seeing. He has no alternative for the Ghanaian people. Indeed, if he had something of substance to sell, he will not have resorted to the language of do or die. As for the do, they can do, but nobody will die for him. Do or die at polling station depends on the preparedness of the party. The NDC's history shows that they have never truly prepared at polling stations. They have not been able to design and implement an architecture that can deliver results at the polling station to enable them to inform themselves. John Mahama lack of electoral preparedness, which he blames on everybody but himself, stems from his own admission of indecisiveness as a leader. His own observations about his lack of decisiveness in his famous autobiography reflects where he is now. He cannot understand that leadership is about vision. He does not know that leadership is about hope. We will not expend precious hours persuading him of the error of his ways. John Mahama's deeds and utterances will continue to expose the incompetence and desperation again and again. John Mahama's deeds and utterances will continue to expose him again and again. As the indecisive and visionless person he is carefully building, incompetent and desperate John Mahama should be given no space to come to the corridors of power. The best way forward for Ghana is the MPP way, and has been the MPP way.
So that is John Boydu there at this press conference today. John Mahama has already been reacting today to all that has been said already by the MPP at this particular press conference that we've just heard of. But I wanted to listen to John Boydu because he's also been addressing the comparison that has already been drawn between John Mahama's do or die and Anado's all die be die.
This is do or die. Wait, nobody is saying it's the same thing. This is do or die. And this statement is arising out of desperation. Seeing what His Excellency Nana-Addo, Danko Akufo-Addo, and his Vice President are doing. Commissioning projects, completed projects all over the place, exhibiting leadership qualities in the management of COVID, raising the name and the image of the party and government very high, said that it is attracting direct investment all over. We are the first destination for any investment in West. I'm saying that we are the first destination in driving private sector investment. into this country. So you can see clearly that it is desperation that is causing that. And I would have expected that, having been in power for 4 or 5 years, having been deputy minister before, by now you may have some alternatives, you understand, so that we can come back here, because that's what we are waiting for. We have slated as a party that every week, every Friday, we are going to engage the media. We will expect that he also come out of pragmatic, visionary programs and alternatives for us all to discuss, rather than wasting our time comparing do or die be die and all that. I think that it is unnecessary. It is a slip that he needs to accept and move on. Using grammar and semantics will not change the situation.
Well, John Mahama, as we speak, is in the Western North region on his thank you tour. He's just been reacting to all the calls for him to apologize and retract. He says that won't happen.
Meka say, oh, dictionary will have be a do or die. Na kind near who dictionary no. Do or die is common English. Well, school I will share English. Your idiomatic expressions. Bibri, do or die is one of them. So face exam, na exam no. A critical exam hour. We say exam is a do or die affair. I don't just say invigilators me examiners. And I say Kotokoni has much there, do or die. And don't just say the AK-47 backpack Albert I just say Obey Tasso, what the Wahondi in Ebekum. That's all I said. And now you know I'm gonna pay your press conference. Say until they can hold press conferences every day. And some guys say answer your opposition. Opposition you need to maybe you want to say criticize it. Ruling government, and also guys criticize them, but mobile holding press conference every day. And for the next 5 years, when we jag about Juma and I'm holding press conferences. Do or die. Me who press conference on do or die. I am a straight. I just say I'm finding you to be. They don't have any job doing.
So that is John Mahama there. He says there that his do or die comment it has a literal translation in an English dictionary, and people who can't speak English should pick up the dictionary and check, and that is an idiomatic expression. He then goes on to question why the government, the MPP, the party, keeps spending a lot of resources and time holding press conferences to react to what he's been saying, and he questions why the party will even hold a press conference to react to his do or die comments, suggesting that for a government to do that, a governing party to do that, it means they really do not have much work to do. That's John Mahama there speaking a short while ago in the Western North region.